Hey, it's Dave Lindahl, and here we are, and right now I'm in Beaumont, Texas, and we're at a property called French Road. This is a 200-unit property that I purchased approximately 2 years ago, me and my partner. And on this particular property, we bought it for $7.2 million, and in a year and a half, we bought it with a value play. Now remember, we're always looking to buy properties with value plays. This particular property had low rents, had really bad exterior landscaping. We upgraded the landscaping. We upgraded each of the units. We put approximately $400 to $600 into the units and upgraded those as well. And we were able to get the property up and running and increase the cash flow, increase the NOI. And in doing that, we were able to refinance the property for $9 million just a year and a half later. So as you can see, we put $1.8 million out of the property, gave the investors back a big chunk of that money, and of course we're owners of the property, so we get a big chunk of that money as well. And we continue to own this property, and the cash flows, and Beaumont's a pretty good market. Now there's a couple of things that I wanted to discuss about this particular property. One of them, actually, let's go around the back of the property, and I want to show you something that had to do with the hand railing. So come on, follow me. Hey, as we're on our way back to those handrails, I wanted to point out a few things for you so you can increase your education. And one of the things is these are exterior HVAC units, and as you can see, this is a brand new one, and this is an older one. So every time you're inspecting your property, you want to go out and you want to count these, and you want to count the older ones, and you want to count the newer ones, because the older ones are going to have to be replaced. They typically have a life of anywhere between 5, 10, 15 years. But when they start to look like this, you know you're probably going to have to put into your budget some money for deferred maintenance down the line. Also, I want you to notice that this has the exterior is brick, which we really liked about this property. And the other thing we liked is that it has pitch roofs. And we like those pitch roofs as well because the bank likes them, they like to finance them, and you know they're much easier to maintain than flat roofs. So let's go around the outside of the building and take a look at some other things. All right, now one of the things that happened in this particular property before we talk about the railings, actually shoot up to the railings, I'll show you. If you look up at the railings here, you'll see that they're metal railings, and they're approximately 40 inches off the actual balcony. And apparently code changed, and now they require 46 inches. And our lender was actually requiring that we meet code and bring them all up to 46 inches, which actually would have cost us a lot of money because there's probably 16, 18 buildings in this particular complex, and they've got exterior railings like this all throughout. So we were able to go back and pull the grandfather clause and basically say, look, the city is not requiring that we do it, so therefore you shouldn't require that we do it either. So we were able to negotiate with our lender and get that expense taken away. Now another problem we had was the fact that everything's separately metered, and that's what we like. You know, these are the metering systems. This is what you're looking for. When you have a property that's separately metered, you know, there's 8 different units in this particular building. There are 9, actually. Yeah, there are 8 different electrical meters out here as well. But we had a problem. They had done some upgrading to the electrical, and they decided that it wasn't done in a certain way that they wanted it, so therefore, I guess there wasn't any inspection. There was an inspection done, but there was something else that they were requiring be done to it. So it had already been done. We went over to the town hall, or the city hall, and we pulled the old permits and saw that the permits had been signed off. So again, we went back to our lender and said, look, the building inspector or the wiring inspector said that these were actually signed off and they were installed properly. So therefore, you shouldn't require us to do, it was one extra step, I can't remember exactly what it is right now, you shouldn't be requiring us to do that. Now, it was going to cost $8,000 for each one of these, for each one of the buildings, in order to upgrade it the way that the lender wanted to. So again, we were able to go back to our lender. Of course, we were armed with information from the building department, and we were able to negotiate that off of the closing. So that was a good thing. There's one other story I want to share with you. As we're doing the property inspection, and you can't see it on this particular building, but in the other buildings on the other side, there are actually stairways that come down on the second floor, and these railings run all the way across. And you can take a stairway up, and there's doors that come out, and that's the exit, the back exit to the building. So we're going through on the day of the inspection. As you know, we go through every single unit. We had the property inspector here as well. He was doing his thing with the roofs and all the other structural parts of it. So I'm coming up to the second floor, and there's a lady sitting out on her porch. And I said, hi ma'am, I'm with the insurance company, because whatever the owner says, that he wants you to pretend you are so nobody knows that the property is being for sale, you tell him. So in this particular case, it was the insurance company. So I said, hi ma'am, I'm with the insurance company. I'm here for the inspection because everybody got notices 2 days before that we were going to be inspecting. I said, so I just need to take a quick look at your property. She says, okay. So I go into the unit. It was a 2-bedroom unit with 2 baths. I go into the living room, I go into the kitchen, I go into the first bedroom, I go into the second bedroom, and as I'm going into the bathroom, into the second bedroom, all of a sudden a woman starts walking out, doing a towel over her head. She had just gotten out of the shower, and the only thing she had on was that towel. And when I saw her, she saw me, and I saw her at the same time, and she says, ah! And I said, oh! And I said, oh, I'm just here for the inspection of the property. And she kind of giggled and laughed, and she's kind of a big woman. And I giggled and laughed, and I said, I'm out of here. And I came back outside, and I said, hey, how come you didn't tell me there's a naked lady in there? And the woman said, oh, that's just my sister. So every apartment property has a story. Every property that you buy has something weird that happens to it. But the best part is every time you buy a property, you get cash flow. Cash flow that goes into your pocket on a regular basis. You get syndication fees for pooling those investors together and getting them into a deal that cash flows. And you also get the appreciation when you go to resell the property. There's a big chunk of money waiting somewhere down the line for myself and the investors when this property resells. That's why we buy multifamily properties. That's why we buy commercial properties. That's why we buy real estate.